barrier, but he drew the strike, so he's in great position now.
13 minutes left in this round, 10 normal plus 3, which is the minimum time extension after a slow play penalty.
Standby phase? You're good. Main phase. Yep. Dark hole?
Dark hole is activated. Can't do much about that.
Set 3. Card to demise for 3. Yes.
It's looking good at the moment. Picks up 3. And, oh, now he gets the swap frog. Unfortunately, can't play that.
And my turn.
So you said those are the new
Correct.
ones? Can I see all your set cards, please?
Second Denko Sekka for Chow. I think we'll see him slam it down here.
Monster. Monster.
A little rough for Navarro since he had to use his Dark Hole there. So now he doesn't have one for either of the Denko Sekkas.
Oh, he normal summons Whiptail instead.
That is because Denko Sekka's effect won't work right now because he has set cards.
I forgot about that. I'll bring it up on the screen in case anyone at home forgot. Also, the Denko Sekka might not be as effective as I thought. As long as Chow has face-down cards in his back row.
That's the thing, though. Like, you have to not set the cards if you're going to use Denko Sekka. Oleonides takes out Dimensional Barrier.
Yeah, if only he could lose the Solemn Strike. He could summon Denko Sekka, but not this turn.
Tiger Mortar picks up Whiptail.
That's good.
In a battle phase. Attack.
Backs into the face down, which is Duprog.
Pretty good since the Whiptail's effect.
Navarro checks his face downs and then almost thinks that his extra deck is another face down.
Take 2,000.
Dimensional Barrier puts 2,000 damage on Chow and keeps the Duprog.
He really wanted to protect that, I guess.
Well, it's pretty smart here because now Chow can't do anything else with that Tiger Mortar. He can't shift it into anything else because he can't exceed summon.
That's true.
What I did not hear is if he is going to chain to it. It looks like he's going to chain combo.
Yes, that's fine.
And that'll stop the Paleozoic from hitting the field.
Okay.
Quickly reorients.
Cards in hand before you draw. 5, so it'll be 6 then.
Chow draws to 6.
Picks up Twin Twisters. Seems like a good draw.
Go ahead.
In your end phase,
Just
activate
go.
Leonodius, target this card for destruction, and your response.
Ooh, pretty good.
Targets the last 2. I think Navarro has Reckless Greed down, right?
I think you're right.
Activate Lost One, targeting the monster. Do you have a response to that? On top of that, I'll chain Oleonides. Is that fine? Okay. And then on top of that, I'll chain Reckless Greed. Do you have a response for that? On top of that, I'll chain
It's only once per chain.
Oh, you got to be careful there. It doesn't work. That doesn't work. Only once per chain.
Cards destroyed. And then I draw 2. And I'm under Reckless.
Wow. Those are 2 pretty good cards.
Wow.
To pick
Swap
up.
Frog and Pot of Desires.
Dang.
Denko Sekka won't help once Navarro has a monster with over 2,000 attack on the field. Over 1,700 attack on the field.
Activate effect, no?
So we activate Swap Frog, and Chow is considering whether or not he wants to use Ghost Ogre here to take the other material off the field.
It doesn't help enough, though, because Ronin Tonan's going to hit the graveyard no matter what. It's going to be summoned to the field no matter what. And then he cannot stop Totally Awesome from hitting the field. Or Opabinia if he prefers.
Navarro does have to be a little careful, though. That still there's still a whiptail loaded up in Tiger Mortar's cannon.
Pot of Desires.
Activate the Desires.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw 2.
Ooh, double traps.
Dynamicious and Lost Wind.
Lost Wind.
Activate.
Pretty good.
Summons Ronin Totem by banishing Swap Frog.
So I think what he's at least got to try is to crash the Swap Frog into Tiger Mortar and get through with a Toad.
Well, Tiger Mortar has 1,200 attack. 1,300. Pretty sure.
Attack for 22.
Oh, and it was
Oh,
Lost
he
Winded.
Lost Winded it,
That's
too.
right.
I forgot about that.
Even I forgot about that.
Tiger Mortar's 100.
Two cards.
When you draw, standby phase, activate.
Activates the Toad.
I will tribute self.
Yeah, why not take it?
And then
Why
I'll
not
still
take it?
resolve the special, and then I'll add after. Okay? I can't take it. It's not in the same place that I originally got it.
Oh, you can't take it.
Yeah, it
because
wasn't
it's sent from
destroyed.
the hand to the graveyard.
It's not that it's not in the same place, it's that it wasn't destroyed. It has to destroy the card, then set it.
And then using this, I'll add.
Doesn't.
So, for example, if you had a Pendulum monster, if you have Archfiend Eccentric, and you tribute it for the Exile Forced effect,
Okay.
you tribute it, you can negate the activation, and you can still destroy it, because it's in a deck. So you can take it. As opposed to, okay, this card's in the graveyard now, you can't destroy cards in the graveyard.
So it's just because it's in the graveyard?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I didn't realize that. But Navarro knows. He's an expert at playing this deck. So he realizes he can't take it.
Activate the Lost One in my graveyard.
Lost Wind comes back.
He upgrades Borbo into Broadbowl.
I have 2, right? Dynamiscus. Target. Any response. Chain on top. Oleanodius. Resolution. Discard. Vanish.
He discards, banishes Borbo, and that leaves Chow with a whole lot of nothing.
Yep. He sets Xyz Universe, which I can't imagine he'll be able to successfully activate in this duel. And it's going to stop him from being able to use his Denko Sekka.
Yeah, it's a little odd that he kept it in.
Yeah, that is strange.
39, right?
Yes.
Could just be that there's, I mean, you could use Chain Disappearance here and take out all the Swap Frogs, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Xyz Universe, I would think.
Maybe he's envisioning a scenario where he could attack with a couple monsters and then Xyz Universe them in the battle phase.
His own monsters on his own turn.
Yeah,
That seems very limited.
lied twice.
And now he's undefeated.
That's pretty impressive. 8-0. And this is a stacked field of competitors, too. Like,
Yeah.
it's an invitational.
Yeah, not anyone can enter.
It's not easy to get 100 points for this. You don't, like, you can play a lot of regionals and you get, how many, like 5?
It's
Per
not a lot.
regional, it's not even a whole lot. And even if you win a UDS qualifier, you only get 20. You're only a fifth of the way there,
I think you get 20 plus you get the number you get for entering, right?
which is only like
I think
5,
there's
right?
another, I thought it was 10.
Is it 10?
I think it's 10.
Well, we'll have to take a look at that.
So I think that's the quickest way
And
to qualify for this event.
if you're at home, you can take a look at that as well on the official website, Yu-Gi-Oh!-card.com. You want to head over to the United States version of it, and you can find all of this under the Premier Events, under the Events tab on the right-hand side. It's
So,
just one of those things.
Yeah.
It's just not easy to qualify for this.
yeah, a lot of players have to be trying to qualify for the most part to qualify. Some people just play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! And qualify without even thinking about it.
Joe Franchino always happens
yes.
to play a lot of
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh. You can actually also get points for judging, I believe, if you're judging at high-level events, and basically foregoing your ability to earn points otherwise. And I do know that there are a lot of players who, for example, after they have their invite to the WCQ for the year, they'll go ahead and turn their attentions over to volunteering for the judge staff. And you can find out more about how you can do that in the organized play section of the website as well. That's actually something I used to do. Back when I was playing, I'd go to the first regional, make top 8 there, get my invite for what was then the national championship, then just judge for the rest of the year. Yeah. So, I'm sure you've got some questions.
Yeah, so
for Pete Navarro.
Absolutely. So we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, but we will be back very soon to interview the winner of our round 8 feature match.
Don't go away.
Attention duelists around the world. Thanks to cutting-edge Kaiba Corp technology, you can now duel on your smartphone. Ready? Check this out, everyone. Write the next chapter in dueling history. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Here I go. It's my turn. My turn!
It's my turn.
Play as your favorite character and win your duels. Not a single card can stand up to this. Build your strongest deck and summon your legendary monsters. I call on Blue Eyes White Dragon. White Lightning! Duels are now in the palm of your hand. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Make your move because it's time to duel.
I'm here with Pete Navarro, who just won his round 8 feature match to secure a 7-0-1 record. I thought it was 8-0 because you said you were undefeated, but it is 7-0-1, still undefeated. Nevertheless, and in very strong contention for a day 2 and ultimately a top cut finish. So first question I have for you, you used a 44 card Paleozoic frog deck. Why 44?
Well, originally before, I've played 43 cards when I played in Minnesota, when I played Magispector Demise. I actually played pretty much the same similar build, and usually I feel that if you're going to have a higher deck count, multiple Demise and multiple Desires, I'm kind of a selfish player, I want to resolve more than one. So in tendency, it actually kind of helps because it allows me to have more resources and outgrind a lot of the Zodiac Mirror matches and stuff like that.
So did you just add cards that you knew you wanted to play and that brought up the card count?
Yes.
Or did you want a higher card count to counteract like that grass looks greener or to increase the utility of the cards in your deck?
Pretty much increase the utility of the cards in the deck. I pretty much is very similar to Cory Roka's build. The only difference is that I added the 3 Demise and the Warning in the main, just so that way if Zoo has to open up first, I have a better turn 2 going into it, and overall it helps me pretty much outgrind the resources. That's the biggest thing for it. And ditching additional Paleozoics that you draw off Demise isn't a bad thing. So.
Obviously your deck is working very well for you, but were you concerned using Paleozoic Frogs after their success in YCS Atlanta and the way duelists would likely tech cards into either their main deck or their side deck to counteract it?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of players pretty much well know that Frogs is a big deal. Denko Seka is a very popular choice. Galaxy Cyclone, of course. Most of the time I can get blown out if I get double Twin Twisted and even with a Totem Bird. But for the most part, the deck can grind out through those resources, and that's why I owe so much of the wins to Cards of Demise. If it wasn't for that card, the additional resources allows you to play at the same pace that they've been going at.
All right. So congratulations on your round 8 feature match win, and good luck in the rest of the tournament.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Fusion Enforcers! Call upon magical new monsters so you can unleash their fusion power. 5 cards per pack, each pack sold separately. And master the storm with Raging Tempest. 9 cards per pack, each pack sold separately. The original Duelists are back! You can collect Yugi Moto's 5 new Magician Girl monsters, plus Seto Kaiba's Blue Eyes Dragons, and the Egyptian Cubic monsters of New Villain Igami. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions Movie Pack Gold Edition. 5 cards per pack, 3 packs per box, each box sold separately.
It's time to duel! Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions, January 27th. Rated PG. Free exclusive Yu-Gi-Oh card with ticket purchase.
Welcome to the Winter 2017 Ultimate Duelist Series Invitational. We are live from Las Vegas. I'm Michael Kohanam. I'm here with Robert Boyajian, and we're here to cover the event live. For our round 1 feature match, we have the defending UDS champion, Aaron Furman, dueling against Oscar Renderos.
Yep, it's going to be an exciting one. We expect the field to be super dense with Zodiac because you need a certain point threshold to qualify for the UDS Invitational. And because of that, these top-level duels are likely expecting a field so dense with Zodiac that we're going to see a lot of crazy main-decked tech geared towards the mirror match.
Yeah, that's likely to be the story of the weekend, what cards duelists are using to beat other duelists' Zodiac decks, since that seems to be the most popular in the tournament. And as you mentioned, it's not easy to qualify for the Ultimate Duelist Series.
No, it is not.
So we're not going to see a lot of third-rate duelists with fourth-rate decks.
Right, yes, you can earn buys. All the points here matter so much. It's exciting. We're also doing extended Swiss this time around, so that means we're going to have 9 rounds of Swiss today with 4 more tomorrow. That's 13 rounds of Swiss, and then we cut to a top 8.
Yes, it won't be easy to win.
Yes. So we're going to have some crazy records moving into top 8 as well because of that. Yep. It looks like our players down at the table are ready. Let's get right to it. It's time to duel. All right, so looking at their decks, both players are main decking a ton of stuff, like we were saying before, geared towards the mirror match. Oscar Renderos has copies of Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries and DD Crow, as well as Lost Wind and 3 copies of Xyz Universe.
Yes, that really caught my eye. Xyz Universe is a card that has mostly been delegated to the side deck, and to see 3 copies in the main deck is actually pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, definitely. We saw a lot of Forbidden Apocrypha at the last YCS Atlanta, but actually one duelist did make the top 32 with 3 copies of Xyz Universe, and I think that trend sort of caught on because Xyz Universe is a little bit more flexible, and you just get more out of it when it resolves.
Yes, I think players are finally acknowledging how strong it really is to be able to turn 2 of your opponent's Xyz monsters into 1 of your own.
Yes. On Furman's end, he has main deck copies of Flying Sea. I think that's the way to go this weekend. Flying Sea is such a powerful card. In addition to that, does he have anything else super crazy for the mirror? No. But, oh no, he has 2 main deck copies of Lullaby of Obedience. That's another card that gained a ton of popularity after we saw it at YCS Atlanta.
Yeah, unfortunately for Furman, and he is aware of this, he was attempting to use the Lunalight Black Sheep combo with Fusion Substitute to draw extra cards, but he neglected to add Fusion Substitute to his deck list.
Yeah.
So now he's running Lunalight Black Sheep without the Fusion Substitute. That might hinder him throughout the tournament, but fortunately, since he is aware of that error,
he won't receive any penalties.
He won't receive any penalties.
Yeah. The Lunalight combo, we didn't see much of it until YCS Atlanta, but it has become the most popular way to play Zodiac, just because of how powerful it is drawing those extra cards. Instead of searching Whiptail, you basically get another draw instead, and then you get an additional draw thanks to the Fusion Substitute and Daigusto Emerald. And you were already at a pretty big disadvantage in the Zodiac mirror, going second. But those extra cards and having the ability to find cards like Maxi and Dimensional Barriers sooner have a really big impact.
Right. So Furman has started things off. He opened up with Rapier, used it to send combo to the graveyard, and then started turning his monsters into Zodiac Xyz monsters.
Yeah, this is the original Zodiac bread and butter. I say that because the new Fusion Substitute flavor has changed quite a bit, but yes.
Yes, so in this particular instance, he used his Blood Bowl's effect to add Whiptail to his hand. Had he used Fusion Substitute in his deck, we might have seen, instead of that, we might have seen him take the Lunalight Black Sheep and add Fusion Substitute to his hand so that he'd be able to draw cards.
Yep.
But Daigusto Emerald's effect does get him 1 additional card, and he does end his turn with the Emerald and the Trident on the field.
Yeah, I believe he has Xyz Barrier as well as Solemn Strike, it looked like. So even though he wasn't able to draw the additional cards, he still had a good opening.
Dimensional Barrier?
Yeah, which is what matters. Renderos drew Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit a turn too late there, but it's still going to probably come into play the following turn. His hand is awesome. He has Speed Road, Terratop, Zodiac Barrage, and 3 trap cards. So if he's able to, get enough tempo to sort of swing the field this turn, then he can use those trap cards to take advantage of it. But that's likely not to happen because of the set Dimensional Barrier on Furman's end.
Right. And the Trident is also disruptive.
Yep. Causing problems.
Yeah, he has no immediate answer to that. So he summons Tekenenborg, attacks the Trident to try to get it out of the way.
Yep. Looks like he's going to have 2 Whiptails. That's the blowout right there.
It's tremendous.
Yep.
So Terratop is not only destroyed, it's also banished.
Yeah.
As Furman reminds him. And Renderos loses 1,200 life points.
Yeah, that's great news, because now he still hasn't used his Dryden activation, so if his opponent activates Zodiac Barrage, he could just use Dryden there, because now he doesn't have to worry about an attacker.
Yeah, that's tremendous.
Yeah.
Two. And no negative.
All set 4? I'll pass my turn.
Renderos just sets 4 cards to his back row, and that's all he can do. Furman draws. He adds Terratop to his hand.
Yeah, this is one of the bigger problems with Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. It typically just doesn't do enough, but it's one of the few hand traps that does something, and that's why so many duelists like to use it. We see Flying Sea and Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries gaining in popularity because they do a little bit more than Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, but Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit is just very flexible. Oh, look, he's playing around Mirror Force. Switches his Dryden to defense, even though it has 2,400 attack and very little defense. But
Emerald attacks directly.
Yep. Doesn't feel the graveyard. He's just going to try to ride these traps and these monsters to an easy victory.
Furman sets a bluff Raigeki.
Yep. Wants to play around Twin Twister. Hopes that his opponent might Twin Twister the fresh one and something old so that he gets to keep one trap around for later.
And that is likely to happen. In many instances, players Twin Twisters and use Twin Twisters to destroy newly set cards since it can't be chained.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to respond with Dryden on the Zodiac Barrage, which opens an opportunity for Renderos to use Solemn Strike if he has it to stop the Dryden. Dimensional Barrier won't be good here, though, because he wants to progress his field.
Renderos does have Strike.
Yeah, there it goes. It's a super efficient trade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, got rid of the Zodiac monster as well as the 2 Whiptails attached to it, so it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's a lot of cards.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Instead of that extra Whiptail, Furman would have 1 extra card and then a different card instead of Whiptail, so he could just have 2 trap cards, which would interact better than that Dryden did against Solemn Strike.
Right, and the best part about the Lunalight Black Sheep combo with Fusion Substitute and all the cards that it lets you draw is that you're then drawing those cards after thinning your deck of a lot of Zodiac monsters,
Yes,
so you're more likely to draw trap cards to secure your combo.
Yep, definitely the case.
Yeah, so Renderos uses the Barrage to special summon Rapier from his deck, and Furman immediately uses Dimensional Barrier to prevent him from upgrading it into a Zodiac Xyz monster.
Draws a Rapier. And he's going to use Daigusto Emerald to get that Rapier along with a couple other Zodiacs back in so that he can start and try to combo again. Just that Daigusto Emerald having a body is going to be super relevant here because we assume Renderos is going to do something like, not Xyz Universe, but Dimensional Barrier, turn off Xyz for a turn, but Furman will still have an attacker to clear the Rapier.
Right. So Dimensional Barrier will negate the Emerald's effect.
Yeah, which is not the worst. He has combo in the grave, so he could pick back. He has 5 already, right? Yep, with the 3 Xyz and then Whiptail plus Rapier.
Yes, he has exactly 5 names.
So he could just do that.
That is what he's doing. So
Yep.
he banishes the combo from his graveyard.
Puts everything back but Whiptail. It looks like a Borbo, Broadbull, Dryden, and the Rapier on the Whiptail. Zodiac combo, a very big role player as to why this strategy has such a good grind game.
Yeah. Even though Barrage can get you Rapier, sometimes it's nice to start out with the Rapier.
Yeah, the ideal opening is usually just Speedroid Terratop with a Rapier in your hand or Fire Formation Tenki, because that lets you end with Totem Bird plus combo in your grave. Yeah, one big reason why I think Lullaby of Obedience is a super strong pick right now too, is that anytime you open the combo and you have Lullaby of Obedience, you can actually turn it into a Maxi because you fill your board with 5 monsters and then you Lullaby of Obedience for Maxi. And then your opponent's forced to add it to your hand because you have all monsters. So in that way, it's both a combo starter and a potential stopper if you already have a combo going.
Interesting. I've never actually seen it used that way.
Yeah, it's It's super good. It's also, you can use multiple in a turn. So if you use Lullaby of Beings to take their monster and go off, even if you draw multiple copies, you can slam down the second one to find Maxi.
I'll bring Lullaby of Obedience up on the screen.
Yep. Very classic card. Do you remember who uses this in the original show?
Seto Kaiba.
Seto Kaiba, of course.
He uses it in the Yugi vs. Kaiba live duel as well.
Yep. And look at those awesome Blue Eyes alternative UDS mats as well. You get those for top 8ing the Invitational.
Those are awesome.
Yeah, super cool. They're a special kind of cloth playmat.
Yeah. They're very rare.
Yes,
This is the only way to get them.
Yeah. There's not many cloth playmats released. It's strictly from the Ultimate Duel series you can earn them.
Right, and there aren't nearly as many UDSs as there are YCSs.
Right.
So it's a lot rarer than a top cut mat from a YCS. Is this
the same turn that he got?
Barrier? No, right?
No. Because the Whiptail's on the field.
Yeah.
There's been a whole full turn.
I missed it. Okay. Rapier, Borbo, Tiger Mortar.
B-touch is special.
He uses the Tiger Mortar's effect to special summon another Rapier from his deck, but loses out to Solemn Strike.
This is what I was talking about, how going first is such a huge advantage. Even though Furman's opening was basically, his hand was much weaker than Renderos's if you just looked at them individually, but because he had the initiative, going first, I set up my field, and now I'm responding to you, and then it's just rough to come back from that. And Renderos has just drawn multiple copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rab, and yep, and that's it. Aragaki clears the field, so Furman has enough damage to finish it off.
Yep, with Dagusto Emerald and an attack from Tekenenborg.
Yep, let's look at the side decks for a second. On Furman's end, let's see, some Twin Twisters, Dark Holes, Royal Decree. Dark Hole will probably be coming in because he's going second.
For sure.
In addition to that, he has 2 copies of Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries.
We might see that coming.
Yeah, I definitely think we're seeing that coming. I don't know what other matchup it would be for, right? I'm pretty sure you're actually supposed to Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries Daigusto Emerald. Because
not a Zodiac?
No, because all the Zodiacs sort of do the same thing. The only one you really want to hit sometimes is, like Dryden or Broad Bull. I feel like do a little bit more than the rest. Like you can do it on Dryden, and then you stop their disruption. But cutting them off from being able to recycle throughout the game with Daigusto Emerald is huge. It's also strong against the Lunalight combo.
Do you think Daigusto Emerald is best because of the way this particular matchup plays out, where it's kind of grindy and Daigusto Emerald's critical?
Yes. So
now, if you're running a different deck with Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, do you maybe hit the Trident?
I could see that.
More aggressive
I understand what you're saying. Possibly. I think the issue is, though, that so the Zodiac combo is so minimal investment, right? And once they have the initiative and they're controlling the field, just being able to keep drawing cards throughout and keep recycling their resources while they already have the field just puts them so far ahead. So in that way, I think it's super important to hit Daigusto Emerald, but I could see that maybe other decks want to hit the Dryden or something. But I feel like if they had Daigusto Emerald in their extra deck, they could just hit the Daigusto Emerald, and that'd just be a little better. Because I feel like you can usually bait out a single Dryden. A lot of people are main decking cards that beat Dryden, board clear effects, still just beat it. Like, Dryden isn't that threatening. It's just very disruptive, and we see it every game. But if you cut them off from being able to recycle, then you just have to beat their first wave, and then you can take the game from there.
I look forward to seeing if Furman uses it in the way you predict.
Yep. On Renderos' end, he has, for this matchup, 3 copies of Chain Disappearance. That card is insanely strong.
Yeah.
Only good going first and usually in your opening hand. But if you get it off, the duel's over. For the same reason why hitting a Daigusto Emerald is strong, Chain Disappearancing Rapier just completely turns off any ability for them to grind, let alone do a full combo. Other than that, he has like that's an interesting Forbidden Lance. We haven't seen much Forbidden Lance, but lines up pretty well against cards like My Body, Forbidden Chalice, so could be cool. It's also good against the Raigeki and Dark Hole effects like that.
Chain Disappearance.
Yeah, that too.
So now we know one card Furman's going to take out, Lunalight Black Sheep.
Yeah,
since he doesn't have the combo. What else do you take out in this matchup?
I think it has a lot to do with cards that are better going first versus cards that are going second. You sort of just shift your deck gears, you know what I mean?
Right, so now he's second, so
going second, cards like Solemn Strike are much worse.
Okay.
Like, you'd rather just have something that fights better, like a Hand Trap or something like that. So that would be the first thing I take out. Like, you want cards like Lullaby Obedience you're never going to be siding out unless it's a matchup that they somehow do not have Rapier or Terror Top in their deck, which likely not happening in the field we have today. But other than that, like, his deck is dense with hand traps already, which he wants going second. So I really think it's probably just Solemn Strikes coming out.
Okay.
Yeah,
that might be.
The popular trend in the OCG was just you either main deck traps or you main deck kaiju, and then you switch depending on if you're going first or second. And there's a bigger argument to whether, you know, playing the traps or the kaiju is better. Welcome back. We are now here on the final round of day 1 of the Ultimate Duel Series.
Yes, we have Pete Navarro, who is now 7-0-1, who we just covered in the last round, dueling against Marcus Caris, who is now 8-0. Dueling at table 1 in this round 8 feature match.
Yeah, we featured both these duels already in separate rounds. We saw Caris deck his opponent out with Mana Core of Darkness and win a game he had no business being in with the combination of Drowning Mirror Force and then a top deck, That Grass Looks Greener. And I wasn't here for the Paleozoic match, but I heard it was basically a stomping.
Yes, he did win fairly efficiently. I believe it was 2-0.
Okay. Well, this is 2 strategies that we don't get to see very much of. So I'm pretty excited about that. One does include Zodiac Rapier and Zodiac Barrage, but it's a very like combo-oriented deck. We've seen what the Zombie Lightsworn deck can do. You know, they try to just send a bunch of stuff to the graveyard and do a bunch of very unfair things, utilizing Fairy Tale Snow and probably one of the strongest ways you can. So I'm pretty excited. We have basically the most powerful sort of combo deck against the most heavy control deck. Yep. Looks like our duels are just about ready at the table, so let's not keep you waiting. It's time to duel. Well,
All right, and then your time.
it looks like Navarro drew Swap Frog, so that's step 1.
Oh, and he goes first.
Yeah.
So it's a very good hand for Navarro.
Yeah. He didn't have another water monster, so he won't be able to go off this turn and make it totally awesome, but Swap Frog is a major role player in the games that Paleozoic Frogs win.
Sure, it's a good hand for Caris, too.
Bounce back. Sure.
That Grass Looks Greener and Soul Charge in his hand.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But he also has 2 copies of the Left Arm Offering that probably aren't going to do much. He also has Instant Fusion.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of very powerful cards, that's for certain.
And Rapier added to the mix.
Yeah, now he has the decision on whether or not he wants to try comboing off with Rapier before he plays That Grass Looks Greener, which I assume he will.
Looks like it.
Yep.
Summons Rapier and now gets to activate its effect if he wants to.
No, he doesn't play any additional. This is actually the slimmest Zodiac engine we've seen.
Does he only play Rapier?
And Zodiac Barrage. That is it. No, he doesn't search any additional Zodiac with Broad Bull. He doesn't send combo. He just does what Rapier does.
Interesting.
Yeah. Looks like we have Dimensional Barrier on Xyz. I assume this is going to be followed up by That Grass Looks Greener.
Right you are. So let's see how many he gets to send to the graveyard.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, so it's 38.
38 minus 6, 54, so 16.
Okay.
Wait. Okay.
Looks like if it's for 16, we've hit 1 wolf, 2 wolves, a Shiranu Spirit Master, a 3rd wolf.
Wow.
A Shiranui Solitaire. Yeah, just 3 wolves. What a deal.
Pretty good. Wow, just like that, 6,300 attack points on the table.
That's not the Card Trooper Triple Wolf dream, but it's pretty close.
It's very close. Took 13 more cards, but you got there.
Do you remember what Navarro's sets are? Does he have a Mirror Force effect?
I don't think so.
At this point, I would be super tempted to just not go further and just crack in for
I know he has
63.
Lost Wind. I think it's Lost Wind and Paleozoics. Not 100% sure, though. I didn't get a good look at his hand.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you don't get punished that badly by cracking in just because you have Soul Charge. Like, worst case scenario, they clear your field, whatever. Next turn, you get a Soul Charge for huge. You still have Instant Fusion. The world is your oyster.
Yeah, you can't XC summon, but with 6,300 attack on the table, it's pretty good.
There's just 63 in. And in main phase 2, he just gets to do more. He's going to summon a Minerva most likely, do some Zodiac stuff.
Well, Dimensional Barrier is still in effect.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
that's why.
So that's why sending 3 wolves to the graveyard is pretty good. You just attack for massive damage with huge monsters, and all right, that was a pretty good turn.
Beast Warriors are in this season. That's what I hear.
That's for sure. I wonder if Blood Bowl has anything to do with that.
The fact that they have they're one of the few strategies that have reinforcement of the army too, and Fire Formation Tanky makes it a pretty good deal as well.
Navarro picks up Dino Mischius.
Let's see if he can come back from this.
He probably can, just because Chris has nothing that really disrupts.
Yeah, but he is such a proactive turn next turn. He can start with Instant Fusion. He has Enemy Controller Soul Charge. That's a lot.
Enemy Controller?
Did he not have any controller in his hand? I thought he did.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
No, it's just 2 copies of Left Arm Offering?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought I saw Enemy Controller. Maybe I was just reading the deck list.
No, he does play 3 copies.
Yeah. I was probably just looking down and then got a little confused. It's been a long day.
It really has.
Yeah, this event will actually have more total rounds than a normal YCS does.
Yeah.
Not just in the Swiss portion, in total, because we will have 13 rounds of Swiss and then a top 16. So normally so that if you count that 13th round as basically the top 32, then this is a 12-round YCS.
Yeah,
almost.
The Ultimate Duelist series is a real test of endurance because the Ultimate Duelist should have that endurance.
Yeah. I mean, Extended Swiss also typically favors stronger players because you have more chances, even if you get a little unlucky, get a couple losses, you're just in it in the long run, and you don't have to face single elimination as early as normal.
Absolutely.
Albeit, it's only 1 round later here.
Still, it removes some variability.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's more than 1 round because there's the additional round. So it's effectively 2 rounds of Swiss more.
Enter battle. 22.
So it's totally awesome. It's going to attack over the Zodiac Ratpierre so it doesn't do something crazy the next turn.
Set. And my turn. Standby. Activate.
Standby phase is going to activate. Totally awesome. No response from Carice. I believe he drew to Zodiac Barrage, but we will see shortly.
So 3 wolves on the field. Let's see.
Oh no, maybe a monster actually. It definitely looks like a monster.
Let's see how much use he can make out of those wolves.
Yes.
Yeah, fighting through Totally Awesome and a bunch of back row is going to be rough, especially because Dew Frog prevents you from just making a large monster running over it. Assuming that none of those trap cards would disrupt any of that anyway, but it's just another layer of protection. Oh, it was Unizombie that I drew. That is a great one. He already has a Solitaire and a Spirit Master in the graveyard. He has Soul Charge and Instant Fusion to do more crazy things with his zombies.
Wow.
Yeah, this is huge.
Is your graveyard?
I think there's just going to end up being too many things for Navarro to stop because of the Soul Charge. As long as the Soul Charge resolves, he's in the good shape.
I can't imagine it not resolving. Navarro will definitely need to use Totally Awesome's effect before Soul Charge is activated. Because
I'm just saying that's the one way I could see this going poorly.
Yeah, for sure. Because something's going to threaten that Totally Awesome.
Yeah.
And which effect are you using? Descend
from the deck.
So already he's using the Unizombie's effect to try to send probably Mizuki, right, from his
He already has the
graveyard.
The Solitaire in his graveyard. Oh, he just negates the Unizombie.
He probably had to, right?
Yeah, because it enables the Mizuki, which is probably too much for him to deal with.
Those 3 free wolves are still there.
Yeah, Carice also plays Castel. Not too common, but that's a very good way to deal with Totally Awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can still attack, correct? Since I'm sorry? I can still attack with
No,
non-zombies.
you should.
Can I
You
read
declared
it?
the effect,
Can I
though,
read it?
so I don't believe you would be able to.
Cannot attack for this turn.
Because you attempted to do it, so I don't believe you
But it
should
was
be able
negated.
to.
Yeah.
That's kind of like irrelevant. Like even with the broadbow, like if you still overlay on top of him, you still attempted the action.
The
That's the
activation
reason.
was negated though.
They're discussing whether or not
You can target what's
Chris can attack with non-zombies after using Unizombies effect,
You can target one
since it was stopped by Totally Awesome.
Yeah, so this primarily has to do with
It's just like if
when an activation is negated versus an effect is negated.
still can't attack.
So Totally Awesome says
Yeah, I'll appeal that. Just
negate
looks
the
like Chris is gonna-
activation.
Yeah. Well, Chris is actually going to appeal that because the table judge ruled that you would still not be able to
It
attack.
should be a condition though. Blackluster Soldier is a part of the condition that it can attack, whereas this is all. The only cost is to target a monster, whereas the rest is part of the effect. Okay.
This is a much more complicated topic beyond negating activations versus effects. It's also dealing with conditions.
The ruling, which is he cannot attack. That'll be the ruling. And that's what you're appealing.
It looks like we'll get our appeal very shortly here.
So the effect of Unizombie reads, monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of this turn except zombie-type monsters. Also, send one zombie-type monster from your deck to the graveyard.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
if
like
you
it's part of
do-
the effect.
I think so too. So
Yeah.
by negating the activation,
I think Carissa is right, actually.
yeah, I think so too. I think you should be able to attack because, and
No, you can still attack if you affect it.
just based on the problem-solving card text, it comes after the semicolon. It seems like a part of the effect that would be negated.
It's different because Blackluster Soldier is not a condition per se. It's rather a part of the. It's part of its overall card design. Card. Anyway, he's already appealed it. So
But we will see what the head judge of the tournament says.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And that judge's ruling will be final.
Indeed.
Yeah. The only problem is that it says target, and since the targeting happened, that's the only thing I'm concerned with.
That's just
you
a
know?
cost, right?
Yeah, that's a cost though. So
But
it's
even then, though, that
Now
is
here's another
attempt to
question.
attack.
So like, because the thing is,
Is he allowed to ask this? Is this question ripe for answering? Because nothing's attacking right now.
So you pay 500.
I believe you can ask the question, am I prevented from being able to attack this turn? I think you're not able to ask if questions, but I think you can ask this question.
Even though he's not even in his battle phase.
Yeah, I believe you can. Because can you enter your battle phase if you don't
You can't
have the ability to attack?
But if you activate an effect, you activated all the
He doesn't even
as
know
long
if he
as
can
you're
change
not-
into that phase.
As long as you're not
What that
skipping
monster
your
effect
battle
did now is
phase.
irrelevant. It was the effect of Agent of Creation Venus. The card name Agent of Creation. So the card has to say you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. We just know by PSCT that you can't use an effect more than once.
Okay.
If
So that
it's
means
negated.
even if you got this back, you still wouldn't be able to use it again then? Since
Yes,
he did,
because it says you can. It says activate. Use.
I believe
use.
it.
Regardless of the answer, I'm
So
curious
I got
to
this
see the
back, I was using
rationale.
another one,
Yeah.
And you try to use the effect,
No,
you
that's
wouldn't be
correct.
able to.
No, I would be able to use the discard from hand effect.
Correct.
Yes.
But in terms of the game state, all that matters is that you tried to use the effect of Unizombie.
Right. No.
What that effect did, what it does, it doesn't matter anymore because it got negated. The activation got negated. So you did nothing essentially.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like too. It looks like the way it's worded here, anyways. It says that if the level was increased, then you couldn't attack for the rest of this turn.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah. So
exactly
that's what I think
yeah,
you're referencing. Yeah.
That's
Alright.
exactly it. Yeah.
Because the thing is, the reason why that exists is that let's say you play a card that prevents you from milling the deck. You still can't attack. That's the reason why it's worded this way.
Can't wait for them to get an answer, and then
you have to
for
be able to
Chris
mill
to
to
use
be
Soul
able to
Charge and not
attack.
be able to attack anyway.
Yep.
PSCT is worded so
I'm a
that
fan.
Also, the word also means that
We'll see if that
effects
happens.
Don't matter
Yeah.
with each other. You do one and then you do the other, regardless of if you did either of them.
Oh, okay.
But the reason the end if you do matters because you still have to mill to be able to try to increase them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Silence my phone. It makes sense though, even for record reference and that, but it's good to know either way. See how they roll it. Especially because I think he was reprinted in the one of the Astral set. Yeah, yeah. OTPC. Yeah. And this isn't that one, unfortunately. It's the sec one.
Yeah, the text on that card is actually just awful.
Most cards on most cards nowadays are awful.
Like they could have made that card's text so much simpler. But the loss.
It's the same. It's worded the same way.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better then. It's really why they reprinted like that.
They just reprinted it bigger.
Oh,
Great,
makes sense.
Bigger.
Oh yeah, legible.
Yeah, because they filled the card.
The ruling that's being appealed, that's that he can't attack?
It's literally the
Is that correct?
Yes. It was ruled by the table judge that left that he cannot attack. But regardless, we will get this sorted out very shortly.
We'll get to the bottom of this.
And there is our head judge.
Hi, how's it going?
How can I help? So,
You want to go explain to your card?
Summon Unizombie.
Okay.
Activate Unizombie's effect to send from my deck, increasing his own level, or targeting itself to
Sure.
increase. Activation of its effect was negated, so now I'm curious if I can attack.
Yes.
Yes,
sure.
okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Thank you.
You guys good?
Good.
All right, makes sense.
All right.
All
Pretty
right.
simple.
So no rationale provided. The answer is just yes, you can attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the newest set.
Thank you.
Cards in here.
You don't have any cards in here, right?
No, no, I'm open right now.
Gonna overlay both wolves. I assume for Broad Bull. Oh no,
Oh,
Fujin Kagutsuchi.
Kagutsuchi.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Does I was gonna say, does Navarro have Dino-Mischief, but it's irrelevant because he has no cards in his hand.
So response to the summon.
Yeah.
So Kagutsuchi is awesome here. Can attack over totally. It's totally awesome here. I almost missed the pun. It can attack over totally awesome, and it can send 5 cards from the top of his deck to his graveyard. Which
Yeah.
is very
It's
powerful in
also
the Lightsworn deck.
prevents its destruction.
Right.
Which probably won't matter too much because we don't see a lot of, the original Mirror Force or Bombless Shrapnel or anything like that, but
Navarro. Oh, Navarro has lost wind though.
yeah, that's just going to
It
negate.
says when it succeeds on. It's an effect.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't say like it's a part of the effect. Yeah.
Send the top card to your entire deck.
When he succeeds on.
Also, again, yes, when it's card is
The sending 5 cards is definitely part of the effect, so lost wind will negate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I validated its half. I know it's
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay. 12.
So lost wind's incredible there.
Yeah. Still, here I think you just jam Instant Fusion, and you're still pretty good. The Instant Fusion gives you a way to make a rank 4, and you'll get Rapier into play.
Carissa's hand is just nuts.
Yeah, he still has Soul Charge.
He
The
does.
only thing that Soul Charge might make it worse is that he might not have enough zones. Like, what a problem to have.
It's like he needs an extra monster zone or something.
Oh, yeah, who knows?
Since Norton comes out of the extra, lost one.
Okay.
Yep. Navarro sets his lost one. Big part of why it's so powerful. You get 2 uses out of it. Not in the same turn because you'll have to wait a turn after you set a trap card, but it's, in my opinion, a strict upgrade to breakthrough skill in a lot of ways.
It's pretty incredible. It's
Yeah.
certainly seeing a lot more play than breakthrough skill for a very good reason.
Yeah. I think, though, if there's ever anything like the artifact cards again, that's something that, like breakthrough skill lines up so much better against that because it's not an extra-based strategy. You need to be able to break through skill a moral talk that comes out, but in a lot of scenarios, lost one's just going to be better.
Yeah. Norton resurrects Ratpier. Summons Borbo over Ratpier. Tiger Mortar over Borbo.
Yep, activates this effect as special summon. Gonna get a ramp here on the field.
Moving his monsters around. It's only so much longer he'll be able to do that for.
Definitely. But, I mean, even now, it's not the most kosher thing, but
yeah,
matters much less than it will.
It is ultimately
in the
irrelevant
future
right now. Yeah. So he combines Norden with Wolf and summons Castell.
Yep. Good way to deal with Totally Awesome. He's not going to get a card back. Yep. Spin it right back. He still does have the Run and Tone in the grave, though. So, with Swap Frog and Do Frog, it's going to be rough. But like we were saying before, I think Kreese should have this. He's just able to do so much this turn, and Paleozoic has a hard time coming back.
Yeah. He did use that Grasslook screener for 16 cards, so
That always helps. I mean, Fool's Burial's limited.
Hitting 3 wolves.
So, yeah.
Okay,
But that is what this deck does, though, right? Yeah. Like, it tries to just have the best that Grasslook screener.
It's true. So Minerva comes out.
Oh, Mills and Arcus.
That's
Draws
a
card. Nice.
That's a cool card searchable by Broad Bull.
Yep. Can't search Wolf because you can't normal summon it.
Yeah, but you can get Arcus.
Yep. And lets you Broad Bull a solar recharge target, which is very important.
Okay, so Broad Bull becomes upgraded into Trident.
Okay. It's good. It's good.
1500 attack Kagasushi attacks the face down Unizombie.
1500 or 1250?
1250. Sorry. You're right.
Puts a banish back to the grave. No response.
Fine.
Yep. He activates
Liankolia.
Liankolia.
That's the one that kicks any banished card back to the graveyard.
Yeah, so he gets back Swap Frog. He more so just wanted the Paleozoic card in the graveyard. But he also does get a extra Ronatone summon by doing that, so.
Yep.
Oh, but
it doesn't matter. Navarro has had enough.
Yeah.
That was an incredible hand for Karis.
Yeah.
He didn't even use the best card in it. Probably the Soul Charge.
I disagree. I actually think
that
the best card was that grass.
Probably
yeah.
better, yeah.
I think, which is crazy to say, that there is a spell card more powerful than Soul Charge.
Is it more powerful than Soul Charge? I remember reading Soul Charge for the first time. I got to write the preview article on it. And I just thought, there is no card like this. This card is incredible.
Yeah, I mean...
And my opinion has not changed since.
Yeah, I think an issue right now, though, is that the battle phase actually matters quite a bit. Because you want to be able to threaten cards. But yeah, in general, no other card can do as much as Soul Charge could. However, I think that Grasslook Screener can.
Yeah.
Like, Soul Charge gets you 5 monsters. Sometimes that Grasslook Screener gets you even more than 5 monsters. They'll get you Infernoids that destroy the field. They'll get you a Fairy Tale Snow that'll do 1,000 different things. And that situation, it got him 6,200 points of damage through a dimensional barrier.
Yeah.
While still fueling his graveyard for other things. Like, that's just absurd.
Yeah, it really depends on the deck it's in also, though. I played Blue Eyes for a long time, and I don't know if I ever lost when I got Soul Charge.
Yeah, well, that's one of those decks that where when you draw Soul Charge, it was insane.
Crazy what you could do with it.
Yeah.
But that Grasslook Screener in Lightsworn, also very powerful.
I'm still going to give it to that Grasslook Screener. I'm sorry. But that Grasslook Screener gets my vote for strongest spell card in the game right now. I don't know. It's hard.
Maybe in the decks being used now. I don't know. But
you're saying like all time? Like if I had to assess how good Soul Charge was at its peak versus that Grasslook Screener at its peak?
It's got to be Soul Charge.
But then are you going to factor in the best thing that Grasslook Screener does? Like what if I hit 20 cards that are the 20 ideal cards, right? In that way, I think there's a higher like potential for what that Grasslook Screener could do. But I understand what you're saying. Like they're a little bit difficult to compare.
Yeah.
But I still think I would side with that Grasslook.
For sure. But also when you Soul Charge, you always know what you're getting into. Like you're targeting the monsters in the graveyard, and you're summoning them to the field, and you know you can make ridiculous plays with them. When you use that Grasslook Screener, you know you're going to send a lot of cards from your deck to your graveyard.
But you don't guarantee.
But you're still crossing your fingers that they're going to be good cards.
Well, you usually build your deck in a way where you can take advantage of it, though. Sure. But I understand what you're saying. But not needing to lose my battle phase and pay some amount of life points, pretty good deal.
It's true. So that Grasslook Screener has really defined the metagame in a way that Soul Charge is not.
Yeah. Let's take a look at side deck. So from Kreese's end, he has Flying Sea. That might come in. It's a good way to stop Totally Awesome. It's not the best card, but it's something you can do. Denko Seka, definitely coming in. Xyz Encore. We were talking about that earlier. Haven't seen that card in years, but it's pretty strong against Totally Awesome.
Yeah.
In addition to that, he has Twin Twister and Gamma Seal, so I feel like he could bring in up to 11 cards if he wanted to against the Paleozoic deck, which is crazy. on Navarro's side, Barrier Statue of the Torrent, that might come in just because of how explosive the strategy is, and if you can protect your Torrent. We saw how the other Barrier Statue stun deck worked. Paleozoic isn't too far off. It has a bunch of trap cards to interact with your opponent, and so if you stick a Barrier Statue, it could be an easy way to victory. His copies of Raigeki and Dark Hole probably not coming in because he's going first. Twin Twisters, you don't want in this matchup. Same thing with Wiretap. That's probably for the mirror.
Wow. Navarro opened up with the Barrier Statue of the Torrent, and then Chris opens up with the one Light Swarm with more attack points that can't be targeted.
Nice.
Arcus just comes in and wipes out that Barrier Statue.
Yep, follows it up with Zodiac Barrage. And he has your favorite card.
Soul Charge.
Yeah. And that Soul... It's unfortunate, though, he's not going to be able to activate the Soul Recharge because he summoned Arcus, but still going, oh, Magic Deflector.
On Barrage, so that's going to negate it for now.
Yeah.
It's a temporary solution, though.
Yep, but if Navarro can somehow come back from this huge deficit now, hits a Fairy Tale Snow and a Rapier. Rapier is not the worst thing to hit, but...
actually, no, in his deck it is, yeah.
But no, he already has one copy of Rapier in his hand, too, so it's actually just terrible.
Yeah. But Fairy Tale Snow, that's a great one.
The reason I was going to say it's not the worst because he can always just make Broad Bull the hard way and then Tiger Mortar back the Rapier. So, like, even though he doesn't have other Zodiacs, his deck is very good at making rank 4s.
That's true.
Yeah. But because he drew a Rapier and he has Barrage in play, it's rough. So Card in Mind is one of the few cards that can get Navarro back in this. Draws Dimensional Barrier and Ronin Totem.
Not awful, I suppose.
Yeah, the fact that he drew a monster and then has a monster is unfortunate because he's going to lose 2 cards. But one of those cards is, fortunately, Ronin Totem.
He skips his next 2 draw phases, too, because he used Reckless Greed.
Ooh, is that Instant Fusion?
So it's looking pretty bad for him.
No, Brilliant Fusion. Oh, that is way better than Instant Fusion right here. Jeez.
That is amazing. Goes fairly nicely with Soul Charge.
Yes. He's an active Zodiac Barrage. At this point, he's probably just getting this Rapier as a material, not as a way to do some Zodiac shenanigans.
Yeah, he really does.
It might actually just be used to get the other Rapier out of his hand and stack into a Dryden, and then he uses the second Rapier as just a regular material for rank 4 summons.
I will do first Aurelia. Is that fine?
Probably trying to kick Lost Wind to the graveyard so that when Chris Ixie summons over Rapier, he'll be able to set Lost Wind from his deck.
And that way he has a way to interact with Zodiac Dryden the following turn. Oh, looks like he might be choosing Canadia.
I guess he just wants more Paleozoics in the graveyard.
Yeah.
He wants to summon his rank 2s.
Yes.
Priest clarifies which effect the Paleozoic Canadia has. Paleozoic's another archetype that looks a little similar to all like each other.
Canadia is the Book of Moon, right?
Yeah. However, Canadian, I think it's Pikaia, look very similar. So I'm pretty sure that's why he has to clarify.
Does he use Pikaia? I notice a lot of players don't.
It doesn't look like it.
Seems like he would be such a strong one. To discard 1 and draw 2.
Yeah, but it's also a slow one, right? Like, you have to spend a turn setting it, and then discarding a trap card that you probably want to just set anyway. It's probably very good in the 60-card version because you just need more Paleozoics, but not so much in the 40-card version. You would rather have a card that actually just interacts with your opponent.
Yeah. I guess the problem is it does nothing if you don't have another Paleozoic to discard.
Yeah. Yes. So. Well, even beyond that, though, it doesn't do anything to what your opponent's trying to do immediately. I think that's the bigger problem with it.
That could be.
Okay, it looks like he's going to Brilliant Fusion, which gets stopped by Dimensional Barrier. Then he's going to normal summon the Rapier from his hand and overlay with his other Rapier. Let's see what he's going to Xyz summon. Bujinte Kagutsuchi.
Dimensional Barrier on
Fusion.
Brilliant Fusion. Does that seem worth it?
I mean, Brilliant Fusion is a very high power level card.
Only because it creates so many plays.
Yeah, well,
where you can Xyz summon monsters, right?
Right. I mean, it's hard just because you know that this is basically a rank 4 Xyz deck, right? So you don't want to be Dimensional Barrier Fusion, but if you can somehow, maybe get a little lucky, and somehow by stopping the Brilliant Fusion you cut Kreese off from doing anything else, then it's worthwhile, right? And I think that Navarro is in such a poor situation where he really needs to just get lucky.
Well,
Activate, put it face down.
how lucky can he get? He's skipping his next 2 draw phases.
Why is he skipping the next 2 draw phases?
Did he reckless?
No, he carded Demised.
Oh, he carded Demised.
Yeah.
You're right. Never mind then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it would be a little greedy to play something like that in this kind of position.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's what the card's all about.
Yeah. So in response to the attack, Navarro activates Canadia, increases considering responding with Fairy Tale Snow, just so that Navarro doesn't have the opportunity to summon a Paleozoic. However, if he can just bring back Snow and destroy the Paleozoic anyway, he effectively gets rid of it in a much stronger fashion. Because he
yeah.
needs to banish it, and rather than just like deal with it later sort of thing.
That is better. So he trades Arcus, which he now puts in the graveyard in case he wants to banish it with Snow.
Yep. He's going to special summon Snow, likely banishing the 2 spells in his graveyard along with Brilliant Fusion, and he's going to have to pick 3 other cards. Snap picks Rapier, Maxi, and Terratop, another Barrage from his hand.
No, he'd rather have all 3 of those cards in the graveyard than the Barrage in his hand.
Well, he still has Soul Charge.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
Yeah. He also doesn't have any more Zodiacs in his deck.
Right, so Barrage is completely useless.
Yeah,
at this
he would
point.
have to Daigusto Emerald.
Exactly.
Back 3 Rapier, which isn't that unlikely, but he's not going to go with that line now, obviously.
Yeah.
7250.
So,
But Navarro is sort of in the driver's seat now because Carice has no way to stop Totally Awesome from coming down.
and he can summon it, right?
Yeah, he has Run and Tone in the graveyard with Fuel.
2 now. Micah? Yeah. Turn. Reckless.
Oh, he did Reckless
Oh.
Greed. That's
When
what
did
I
he
thought.
Reckless? Did I miss that?
You have 16
Oh,
minutes.
before he carded my. Oh, did he Reckless into carded demise?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. See, that makes
I don't
more
know.
sense. Because I was trying to figure out where the monster came from with Card of Demise, so it makes sense because I thought he just drew the Card of Demise for turn and then Card of Demise into a monster.
You had me convinced. I was thinking of last game.
Yeah.
But
Gotta be confident, Colin.
I know.
Confident in your decisions. You can do this.
The
All right, Exceed Summon totally awesome.
And about.
So this is where things can turn very bad very quickly if Kreese doesn't have a strong out ASAP.
Yeah.
However, I'm pretty sure once you flip that Bujinte Kagasuchi back, it will have full attack. So shouldn't be that bad.
Stand by.
How did that get face down?
The Paleozoic Canadia.
Wait, is that the same one that was negated by Lost Wind?
Yeah.
And then
It tried to make an
Navarro
attack.
put it face down?
Yeah, it was at 1250, and I think he was attacking a Paleozoic. And so he wanted to put it face down so he could also trigger a Paleozoic.
But instead, he's giving it 2,500 attack points and its ability back.
Right, but now he still has to come up with a way to deal with the Dupe Frog. Because but now he just draw. Oh man, Raigeki.
Raigeki. So he has Raigeki and Soul Charge. But he doesn't want either of those cards to be stolen.
Yeah,
That's the problem. This is tough, actually.
it's very tough.
He uses Raigeki. So obviously Totally Awesome's going to steal Raigeki.
Yeah.
That's a sure thing.
Attribute to take it.
You're gonna trigger the effect totally awesome. Probably get back Swap Frog or Dupe Frog. I guess he does not have Swap Frog. And then next up, Soul Charge for 4.
Now, what do you make that's resilient to Raigeki, since you know your
step 1 is
opponent has
Minerva.
it?
And then you could also flip up your Kagatsuchi anyway, which is resilient.
Right.
You're just gonna you don't want to make a resilient field. You're just gonna try to make a field that produces more advantage. So like you need cards like Minerva that's gonna send things to the graveyard, stuff like that. He's just gonna try to make it so even if he gets Raigeki, he can still recover. Oh wait, let's see, just for 2. Let's see, maybe 3.
You got a Duke card, right?
Yes.
Not gonna summon 4.
Targets.
So 3 then.
He'll give up 3,000 life points to get both the Snows and the Mizuki.
Yeah, chooses to leave Arcus in the graveyard. He must have a plan.
Well, he probably figures Arcus is level 3, right? So he can't really do anything with it.
yes, but like I feel like just getting something that mills more cards might not be the worst. You just get an Arcus in defense, 1800 defense.
Well, it's definitely going to be destroyed by Raigeki.
Yeah, but you'll just mill 2 cards more so. But yeah, you're right that it's going to get cleared away.
Unless you could just draw a card that destroys the face-down Raigeki.
Well, I think what he's trying to do is maybe hit a tuner and detach that Mizuki and like Cyframe Lord Omega, and then just set up where he can Omega whatever the one card in Navarro's hand, and then the Raigeki can't destroy the Omega because the Omega is banished.
That could be.
But we'll see. He might also just try to Castel. Nope, looks like it's Minerva coming down.
He's not entirely decided. I think you're probably right. We'll probably see Minerva here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Marcus, you're receiving a slow play warning. Please make sure you play with the professor. Have you received one today?
No.
Denko Seka.
Exceeds, Encore, and Instant Fusion.
That was no help. Feels snow, I guess, a little bit. So. Suppose it was a little bit of help.
Yeah. Minerva gets to mill more when it's destroyed, though, right?
That's right. And you can destroy cards if it sends Light Sworns to the graveyard.
Is it cards or just spell and traps?
I'm pretty sure it's not just spells and traps.
Okay.
Let me check, though.
One in hand?
Cards on the field up to the number of Light Sworn cards sent to the graveyard by this effect.
Nice.
So
Well,
yes,
he would have to get a
cards.
little lucky, but we saw him mill 3 wolves earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I was talking about the card trooper triple wolf dream, but in reality it's turned into the Minerva triple wolf dream, right? Draw 3 cards, special summon 6,200 points of damage.
63.
Oh, 63, right? Oh, no, 100 more.
Yeah.
Cards in your grave? 6.
Navarro saying how he wants to navigate this turn.
It's not easy. But
Well, it's rough because he Raigekis, Minerva's going to mill 3, the snow's just in the graveyard, whatever. It's going to come back, and the Kagasuchi protects itself.
Yeah, so I guess the Raigeki's not incredibly effective.
One in hand card.
But I still think you have to Raigeki. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to... I don't know why you would leave any of these monsters up.
It's a Kagutsushi's effect that
Continuous.
protects itself. Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah, it doesn't activate.
Yeah,
No.
so he can't make
It's
totally
like a replacement
awesome.
effect.
He can't make totally awesome and try to stop it.
No, he cannot.
He has Dupe Frog in hand. He normal summons it to the field. So
You'll also be receiving a slow play as well. Please make sure you play faster. You received one today?
So that's step 1.
Yep. He's going to make...
Is that number 45?
Yeah, I believe it's Crumble Logos. The Prophet of Demolition.
Unless you are currently playing in the tournaments, or are the parent or guardian of someone currently playing in the tournament, I need you to start collecting.
So Crumble Logos, 2200 attack. It has an effect that says once per turn you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then target 1 other face-up card on the field, and while this card is face-up on the field, that target has its effect negated.
All right.
While
so
that target is on the field, the cards with the same name as that target and their effects cannot be activated.
So he negates Kagutsuchi and then uses Raigeki to take it down for good. Minerva's effect will activate.
Yep. Oh, that's 1.
All right. 1 is really all he needed.
Yes.
Because it clears the field.
Navarro can probably just banish a frog for Ronin Totem just so he has defense, which seems like a pretty good deal.
He only has 1 Ronin Totem, right?
Yeah, so he can't make another totally awesome, but you summon the 2000 Defender because you have so many frogs in the graveyard, you're not going to activate Ronin Totem that many times before this game's over.
He declines to do so. But
I think that's super interesting because now I feel like he's likely just... was the last card Soul Recharge?
Solar Recharge, so it doesn't really do anything.
With Fairy Tale Snows in the grave, I don't know. He would have to Daigusta and roll the Arcus back and then be able to Broad Bullet, which is a lot of summons. Sends Wolf. But if there's a deck that can do it, it is this one. But I think it should be over. Let's see the maximum amount of damage he can do.
5750 plus Seraphinite's attack, right?
Oh, wait, Seraphinite, the Brilliant Fusion makes it so you discard a spell to give it back to real attack, right?
So that's actually game.
Yeah, and there it is.
Yeah?
Yeah, very quick
Wow.
2-0. Yeah,
I did not see that coming because
sometimes
the Brilliant Fusion off the top.
sometimes when you see control decks, the biggest problem is they have less answers than the opponent has questions.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's really what happened there. And then he turned that Brilliant Fusion into an incredible play because sending Wolf added 2,100 attacks to the table. Seraphinite was an extra 23 by discarding the Solar Recharge that could do nothing in his hand. And then he had 2 Snows in his graveyard.
Brilliant
That's
Fusion
another
alone was
39.
4,400 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
rather 37 from the Snows. So. Right.
Well, Brilliant Fusion was the Wolf plus Seraphinite alone is
right. So it's 23 and 21. Yeah, 4,400.
Yeah. So I'm just saying drawing Brilliant Fusion just gave him 4,400 damage. So all he needed to do was make up the rest, which wasn't very hard with multiple copies of Snow in the graveyard.
Yep, and more than 14 cards in there.
Yeah, crazy. Well, no, even if he didn't have that many, what he can do is
cards on the field as well.
There's a big reason why Fairy Tale Snow is so powerful. You can also banish the Snow you just attack with for your other Snow.
That's true, too.
Yeah, it gets crazy very, very quickly.
Yeah, so Chris wins the feature match 2-0, right?
Yeah.
And he was the undefeated duelist. Well, both of them are undefeated, but Chris was 7-0.
Yes, now he's 8-0.
His opponent was 7-0-1.
Yeah, that's
6-0-1, sorry.
Almost locked in at this point for a top 16 finish.
Well, it's
There's
4 more rounds.
He needs to win. I think all he needs to do is win one of the next 4.
That sounds right to me. I don't know for sure,
crazy.
but
I'm pretty sure because of the top 16 that's how it works. Unless we have a crazy number of like X2 and 2s or things like that could sort of push him out. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, this is just another example of why that Grass Looks Greener is such a powerful card. If you build your strategy around it, you have the highest potential in terms of power level. And we saw a lot of the Infernoid Zodiac, which did something very similar to this, right? It took that Grass Looks Greener and just did 1,000 different things with it because of Infernoids. This deck is sort of similar, but rank 4s are just the business.
Yeah. So once again, at the end of Swiss, the undefeated deck is one that most duelists would not expect. It is not a pure Zodiac deck.
This time they have Rapier, but at this point, this is the least amount of Zodiacs you would even consider. Like, there's no other Zodiacs in his deck.
Just Rapier and Barrage.
Yeah.
And he's using Lightsworn Zombies with Brilliant Fusion. So it's...
I mean, the Minerva Turbo decks, right, is I think what we used to call them.
Right.
Have been around for a while, but this is just the strongest version of that deck.
His is a little... He only runs one Minerva Exalted Lightsworn.
Yeah, I think it's
a lot of those decks do run multiples.
That is true, but I feel like usually it's not more than 2, but I think that now, because of the Rapiers and the Excess Beast Warriors, the fact that you can make Kagesuchi and that's 5 more mills and all the Zodiac stuff gives you more things to do, it's a little easier to do without multiple copies of Minerva. It's also a pretty large investment just to play the second copy.
That is true.
Yeah. Well.
So that's it for day 1.
Yep, that's it for day 1. We are gonna run to a quick break. We're gonna get an interview with Marcus once again. But other than that, make sure to stay tuned for tomorrow. We will have round 10 in the morning, right? Rounds 10, 11, 12, and 13 before we cut to a top 16 finish.
And that will be at 9 a.m. here on the West Coast.
Yep, 9 a.m. PST, so 12 noon EST.
In my New York time.
Yeah. Make sure to be there. We'll see you then.
The original Duelists are back! You can collect Yu-Gi-Moto's 5 new Magician Girl monsters, plus Seto Kaiba's Blue Eyes Dragons, and the Egyptian Cubic monsters of New Villain Igami. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions Movie Pack Gold Edition. 5 cards per pack, 3 packs per box, each box sold separately.
It's time to duel! Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions. January 27th. Rated PG. Free exclusive Yu-Gi-Oh! Card with ticket purchase.
It's time to duel! Duel!
Tempest. On a dark and stormy dueling night, rain monsters down with all your might. Bring wind and birds and beasts from the sky. 100 new cards. Raging Tempest.
9 cards per pack, each pack sold separately.
Well, we're back here with Marcus Crease again. It feels like it hasn't been that long since I talked to you, but you're just steamrolling them down. So you stole a game earlier. Tell me how good Soul Charge is.
Yeah, I opened with that, and at first I didn't think I was going to use it. Thought I would end up discarding it for the Seraphonite, but it ended up getting barriered. So my entire game plan kind of relied on that from turn 2 and on.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows like probably the heaviest control deck in the format, right, against the combo deck that has the highest potential of what you can do because of cards like that Grass Looks Serene. Was there anything about your match you thought was interesting or anything that stood out to you? Or do you think that's just the standard of how it goes against Paleozoic, where you're just trying to produce more threats than they have answers before they get totally awesome online?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Luckily, my deck can deal with Toad pretty well. Snow and interrupting the chain link, so it's not too bad. But that barrier statue turn 1 kind of caught me off guard. A little bit lucky I had one of my 6 outs for it in my hand, so it all kind of played out.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. But whenever your opponent dimensional barriers you and you mill 3 wolves off of that Grass Looks Green, it's got to be a good time, right?
Yeah, honestly, there's so many cards that I can mill. Like one wolf and Mizuki and a solitaire and pretty much seals the game from that point on. But 3 wolves was good. Obviously good enough to kind of get me.
Yeah, I mean, just the tempo under dimensional barrier, right? The fact that you can just crack in for 62 real quick, or 63, and then go on from there. Well, good job. You are the undefeated duelist after day 1. Once again, Pure Zoo was not our undefeated deck after our first day of Swiss. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. 9 a.m. we'll have round 10 of UDS Las Vegas. We'll see you then.